Hello everyone, this is Robio91 and today we're going to change the front tire on the KLR 650. We're changing the front tire, also we'll be replacing the tube with its own tube, with the same tube. So this will be the same procedure for most motorcycles. The first thing to do is to get the motorcycle upright and stable. I'm using the center stand, but using the center stand the front wheel has a lot of weight, so we need to lift the front end up. I'm using a jack lift, and I'm going to lift the front wheel off the ground, so we could remove the front wheel and work on it, change that tire. So the second step is to remove the speedometer cable. This is where it's located. So remove that cable. The next step is to remove the axle nut. Now I believe the axle nut is a 19mm, it could be a 17. Let's see if we can see it in the video. I think it's a 19mm. But you gotta remove that. Nope, couldn't see it. Couldn't see the thing there. Anyways, remove the axle nut. After that, we're going to loosen the axle clamp bolts. Now I believe this is a size 8 metric Allen wrench. So loosen, there's 2 on each side. So you got to loosen those. Now, loosening these might take a bit of effort because they're pretty clamped on there. They're torqued fairly well. So I just did the right side, now I'm doing the left. Alrighty, so now that we got the clamps loosened, we're going to take out the front axle. Now here's my hefty rubber mallet. I'm gonna hammer the crap out of the front axle, and then remove it. You're going to hold weight on the front wheel, so you can easily take this shaft out. This is the shaft, the axle, and now we can remove the front tire. Now we don't need the front wheel. We don't need to remove or disconnect the brake caliper. That's not necessary. So remove the front wheel. This is what it looks like. Make sure your motorcycle is stable. Now we're going to work on the new tire. We're going to work on top of the new tire so that we don't damage any brake rotors, etc., etc. Remove the cap, the valve cap. And now we're going to remove the valve core with a valve core removing tool. So that's what we're doing right now. The air will now escape from the tube, which is what we want, which is a good thing. Next, we're going to break the bead. Now, breaking the bead is easy because all you got to do is basically apply pressure to the tire so that it unseats the bead. And you could use your feet, your hands. That's what I'm doing. Make sure it's unseated on both sides and unseated evenly. Unseated on both sides. This is my second time doing a tire change, so I'm not the greatest at this. Now it's we're going to lubricate the bead area. Easily you could remove it easier while it's lubricated. Lubricate both sides. I'm using Windex. You could use soapy water. I like Windex because it's easier and it dries quicker. If you use soapy water, you should let it dry overnight. Now we're going to remove the stem nut. I'm going to call it that. I don't know what it's called. It's a nut on the valve stem that you need to take off, that you need to remove. So that's what we're doing. After that, what are we doing? I don't know. Oh, now we're actually removing one side of the tire. Now I'm using 3 tire irons. I think it's best to use 3 tire irons. It'll make your life easier. So, but you could do 2 tire irons. That'd be fine. I'm using 3 because it's better. What you want is you want to place all 3 tire irons in first, and then make your first move. Now that might be difficult, as you can see here, but once you get the hang of it, which you'll see in a few seconds, it'll work out. Now, what I should have done is I should have placed it a little bit to the right, where I have it right now, so that it would bite into the the side of the tire there. So this is how it should be. Boom, 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 all three. Then you can take the middle one out real easy. Place that next, get another bite going. And eventually what happened was I got some bites and then it didn't really work out, so I was like, alright, I'm just going to just use my manpower and take this out. So that's what I did. I just pulled the tire off the rim, basically, or off the wheel. And now the tube's already is still in there, and this is what it looks like at this step. And you want to check the tube, make sure it's all good in the hood. And now we're going to remove the tube, taking the valve stem out first. Remove that tube, and then after we remove it, we're going to inspect it. We're going to inspect the tube. Make sure there's no debris, dust, dirt, rocks, punctures, objects in it. And you want to make sure your valve stem is in good condition and straight. Put that to the side. And now you're going to hopefully be able to remove the wheel out of the tire. Now this is difficult. I don't really know how to do this, but I obviously did it. I don't really have a good technique, but I eventually I used my manpower and pulled it out, and you'll see here in a moment. So that's what I did. And you're not really supposed to do that, but I mean, I guess whatever works. So that's the wheel. Set that aside. Now, to condition the tube to put it back into the tire, I think this is a good idea. Put baby powder into a clean plastic bag. Baby powder, and then you're going to put your tube in the. Well, first you need to put the valve core in your tube using the valve core tool. Now we're going to put the tube inside the bag full of baby powder, and I think the baby powder helps with friction inside the tire and helps with other things. So you want to shake the bag up, get all that baby powder coating the tube. Sorry for the boring video, but this is educational stuff. I think this will educate people. Anyway, so the tube is heavily coated with baby powder. You want to take the excess baby powder off because you don't need that much. So maybe I put too much in the bag. Who knows? Anyway, so remove the excess. Now you want to inflate the tube. You want to inflate the tube just a little bit. Just a little bit so that it creases on the finger. This helps installing the tube easier, and it won't twist as much. It'll be less prone to twisting, and it'll just be overall easier to mount and to put in the tire, put in the wheel assembly. Now we're going to identify. We're going to be working on top of the old tire. That's the old tire. This is the new tire. It's a Kenda something. I forgot the number. Sorry. Anyways, we're going to work on top of it so that we don't ruin the brake rotor, etc., etc. You want to identify that dot right there. That dot symbolizes where the valve stem should be. It should be like a white dot on the tire, on the new tire. It's where the valve stem should be. Also, you want to locate the rotation symbol or icon or whatever. And I calculated that the brake rotor needs to be up concerning the rotation of the tire. Now we're going to try to mount a little bit the wheel inside the tire, in the new tire. Now this might be difficult, but you'll have to work on it. It's better if you lube the beads because then it's easier, to pop it, easier to put in there.